Hello lovelies, and welcome to today's video. I'm Alya and I'm so glad you stopped by. So today I'm going to be really concentrating on technique, wrapping technique, different sort of principles, if you like, that I've managed to figure out over the years of doing this. So I think that at the end of the day, some people are just a little bit reluctant to start wrapping because it's a little bit overwhelming, because it seems like a whole art science to it. And I promise you that as much as you can be absolutely creative with this, and it can definitely be artistic, there is a very simple basic idea behind it to get you started until you figure out what works for you. So I'm going to show you some basic bits and pieces that you can then piece together at home and start trying it out for yourselves. So this whole idea is just to encourage those who haven't yet started wrapping, who perhaps use something else to cover, to just give it a go. And take a little bit of the scariness away from it, even though we are, approaching the scary spooky season, if you ask some people. I'm here to say that there's nothing scary about wrapping. So if you're interested, please do stick around. I've got my hair in a very simple bun, just at the back of my head here, absolutely nothing special. I'm not wearing any kind of shapewear underneath, no non-slip headband, nothing. This is just one scarf. I might introduce a few others just to demonstrate, and that's it. So if you've got nothing at home other than a scarf, you've got everything you need. If you've got no hair at all, that's also fine. I've intentionally sort of put it at the back of my head here where, let's say if I was wearing a wig, that's where I'd put it to, so it's not really adding or taking away from anything. And like that, if you've got a lot of hair, it's just better because it adds volume and things like that, so that won't get in the way either. So to get started, there's a few ways to sort of begin the process. The first thing you want to decide is, are your tails equal or are they lopsided? So we'll start with equal, and just to show you. The other thing I like to do is that if you're working with a flat end, sort of the stitched bit of the scarf, just tuck it under a little bit, just so that you have a nice soft finish there. But other than that, and that's just such a taste thing, it's a design feature, it's not important, you can get started. So you're going to do it either up or down. So to do it down, I like to flip my tails back, so if they're staying put here at this stage, they're going to stay put. And I gather them like two ponytails right next to each other, so make two fists. Hope you can see that, two fists that are touching each other. Then we just can either cross over, or this is a good point where you can tie a knot. So just threading it through. Okay, so we've got two equal tails and a knot at the back. So at this point you're pretty much done. You could stop here if you really wanted to. That's all we've got. We just put it down and tie a knot. Got two equal tails, so my go-to is to actually flatten whatever I have out. This is a narrow scarf, so I don't have to fold it or anything. I'm just letting it sort of loosen up on its own, and then I drop it. And if I drop it, if you can see, it's really nicely creased, whereas this one's all twisted from being tied. So we'll do the same thing on the other side, stretching it out and just letting it drop. You get these nice beautiful flat creases. So back to this side, I'm just bringing it up by holding it still in a creased way, but holding it by its edges. And just nice and flat. You can adjust it as you go, but make sure that it's nice and flat against your head. Lifting it up and letting it lay down by the edges, holding it creased, nice and flat, down and over. And that's kind of it. Just going to hide that label there, and you can just tie it off at the nape of the neck. And that's it. That's your Tichel. So that's just one very basic idea. If you wanted to introduce a second Tichel or anything like that, you can kind of see now where that would be appropriate. You really have that idea of the flow going. So this basic concept, if you can do this, you can do anything. Okay, but what if you chose not to tie it down at the back? Don't know. What if we decided to go the other way? So back to the initial two equal tails, and this time we're going to bring it up. So what I like to do is I like to use my ears as a sort of guide almost, because there's a bone right there which lets you sort of cradle your head. So it's kind of grasping the base of the head. And you know that if a little bit of your ear is sticking out, you're doing the right thing. If you've kind of captured the whole ear, you might not be that comfortable. So same sort of thing, just crossing it right over. And once it's crossed over, you can sort of adjust the fabric in such a way that all the bits and pieces are the way you like them. And same thing, you can tie it down at the back, or you can cross it over like I've just done. And then in this case, what I'm going to actually do, because there's a little tag here, I'm just going to fold it under, that's all, and bring it up, same as before, in a flat but creased way. And instead of tying it, I'm just going to tuck it into a little pocket that's been formed by the scarf. Flatten it out, and that's it. And same thing here, this time I don't have to fold because there's no tag. Just bring it up in a nice flat creased way and tuck it away. And that's it. Absolutely easy peasy. Really, really straightforward, very effective, and super cute. Little turban hat thingy. Okay, just pop this really nice thin scarf on. It's a little bit sheer, but it's nice and dark, so we'll get away with it. Nice and long, this one as well. And I just want to show you something a little bit different. So not a crisscross method. So same thing, you can go up and things like that too, but we're going to start with the down one. And this time I'm actually just going to cross it over. Okay, and then you can bring one, choose whichever side you like. Oh, same sort of thing as before, the flat sort of creases. You don't want a big old lump forming on your head, so just find the edges, putting it down. Okay, and then bringing it down to the nape. At which point I'm going to actually tie it. So remember, we're not using hair in all of this, so it's not holding on to anything but itself, the scarf. Okay, I'm just going to move a little bit to show you guys. All right, so at this stage, again, my hair's all the way up there, so it's not going to be helping me at all. What I'm going to do is take this little bit here and use it to wrap and then tuck it into itself. And there you have a little bun look without any hair being a part of the situation. How cute is that? You've got just a nice little flat situation at the top. One little point of interest with this swinging bit here, with this tail here, you can actually bring it forward and sort of arrange the creases to be a little bit more interesting. You can add a twist, all the things. I really like the idea that, again, it doesn't matter how much or how little hair you have for this one. It doesn't matter what shapers or headbands or any of that stuff you have. Anybody could do this. All you had in this one was the scarf. So once again, we'll just go back to the part where it started from. Just untie everything. Okay. So same thing. What if we went up with it? So let's do that. Oops. Now you don't have to do a crossover. If you don't like this, what I call the widow's peak kind of look, if you don't like the triangle there, you can actually flatten it across the top of your head. I'm just going to do the exact same thing. I'm just going to bring this around as far as it will go, concentrating on just one tail. And then once we get to meet the other one again, then we tie. Now we can tuck all the business that doesn't work away at this stage. Okay. And then with the other one, I'm going to go the other way. And back up. Oops. Back up this way. I still like to make sure that things are traveling nice and flat and creasing nicely, but it's not really that important. And then what we can do is either tuck away or tie it first. And then tuck away. Just adds another little bit of something at the top here, and then tuck this one away. Okay, and same thing again. All we did was we wrapped very simply. There was no dependency on a bun or any kind of accessory. It just sort of works like this. And it's good to use a scarf that has a little bit of interest on it, so not just a plain scarf, although it would work completely with a plain scarf. It just means that you don't have to worry too much about your little design features or interest points or to pretty it up, because the scarf just speaks for itself. How lovely is that? So I promised that you could build on that principle. So this time I'm having them a little bit uneven, and I'm going to put both of them on. Now I wouldn't necessarily wear these two together as such, but I'm just going to demonstrate with it anyway. I'm just putting it down. What I did was I measured out the tips to match first, then I put down the black one on top. Where are you? And just letting it hang nicely and loosely down the side. So they're roughly the same length, these two scarves. Most scarves you'll find are similar lengths, so that makes things a bit easier. Now I'm going to use them together because that's the most simple way to do it. So bringing them both up, twisting them over into that little sort of triangle situation. Now this is where it gets a little bit more tricky, so I'm just going to take them both, lay them flat together, and together bring them down over the side and back. Same thing here. Let them layer out nice and flat, bring them together again, and tie them. So you saw I just sort of used my head and a bit of gravity to move things around rather than you having to use my hands. So now we've got this beautiful tail here down one side and not much to work with at the end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring this small tie over, or tail over, wrap it around. You can do like a little tail here, or you can put a little bit of a point of difference. So bring the grey bit, because I've got grey at the front, so I've taken the grey bit over first and tuck it away wherever you can find space, and then take the white one over throughout the back, or the black and white one, and also find a space to tuck. Okay, just do it here as well. Okay, and then once you've got that, you just find a way to tuck these two away, or I actually really like them out, so I'm going to leave them out. That's the easiest way to have two scarves in your tickle, because they sort of already lay down together. One more demonstration just to show that it's really easy to put two down together. I'm just going to take this black and white one off, and I'm just going to even it out just to bring it back to the original kind of concept we were working with. And same thing as before. Oops, just don't get tangled. I'm just going to tie it down at the back, because I haven't done that one yet with two. Looping it through. Okay, making sure this black and white one is nice and even. I'm actually going to go the opposite way. Just an easy trick, except this time I'm going to use it as a sash. What that basically means is it's just folded up, so it's not covering my head, it's just like a little headband this time. And I would say if you're a beginner to use a skinny scarf or a thin fabric to do this with, because it's just easier. Then I'm going to bring up these two that are equal and just, whoopsies, just tie them up right where the other tie is. Okay, and at this point you can do so many interesting things. You can twist them around, just hide the tags, twist them around, put them down, really pretty point of interest, and then use the longer bit to tuck away. That's one kind of thing you can do. And then maybe you want to do something interesting with them instead. So instead of tucking away, you could pleat them. I'm just going to twist this side as well. And bring it down the back. Again, hair not a player in this design, so that does complicate things a little bit because there's nothing to hold on to, and I don't have a non-slip headband on, so it may be a bit tricky to keep things together without those things, but it's not impossible. Okay, I'm just going to twist this up so that it's nice and skinny, and just pack it away wherever there's a little gap. And just like that, you have this super interesting twisted beauty going on. Very, very different, and got lots of different twists and design features and everything like that. It's very light and comfortable. It's not squashing my head at all. You know, it's staying put and everything. And all I did was I followed the exact same principles as I did at the very beginning. I just combined two. And you get all these wonderful designs just by alternating a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there. The one thing I will mention that I've discovered is that if you don't have enough length to achieve your design for whatever reason, like the tail will just not go far enough to do what you want it to do, when you initially lay it down, figure out what tail that one is that's not long enough and make it longer. So put your tickle down unevenly, making the tail that's creating your feature the longest one. Start with just a little bit and add more as you need. And once you've experimented a few times, you will know what's required out of that particular scarf. Okay, my lovelies, I hope you enjoyed today's tickle tutorial. If you did, please do hit like. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe. These videos about tickles are going up every single midweek, so roughly Wednesday night in Australia, which is roughly Wednesday day everywhere else in the world. So definitely subscribe so that you're getting notified when they're going up. And definitely leave me a comment as well. If there's anything you'd like to ask, or if there's a particular style you'd like me to recreate or teach, let me know and I'm happy to do it. For more stuff about just daily life, please head over to Instagram. There's lots of posts up there and a few reels and stories and all the fun stuff about Instagram. Please go and check it out. For more tickle tutorials, please do see the tickle library over here on YouTube. There are so many videos. I've been doing this for a few years and there's been a video almost every week up about tickles and different women who wore them and all that sort of thing. So please do head over and check out all the tickle tutorials over here. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're staying safe, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Bye.